I wanted to share with you the top 4 challenges I see when it comes to getting feedback. Number 1 is just not getting any feedback, right? If you're not out there asking for information, you're not out there you need to be able to check in with people and get a benchmark for where things are at, what's going on around you. And if you haven't done that, if you're not out there and you're not actually communicating with people to get those metrics, it takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of doing things the hard way to get that information. You're going to be moving blindly, and you're going to have to look back and say, wow, this was probably caused because of that. And it's just going to take a long process. Number 2 is not doing anything about it when you actually get feedback. This one's probably one of the worst because it means that you're getting feedback, but you're not actually doing anything with it. So you've taken care of the first step at least, but you need to be able to follow through. That's a big one. If you don't follow through, what good is the feedback in the first place? All right, number 3. This one is actually only getting feedback from a very small group of people. So when you have just 1 person, 2 person, 3 person in a larger company, and those are the 3 people that you're getting any of your feedback from, then you have a very narrow scope of what's actually going on. And they might be telling you, oh, it's all good, or this is all messed up, or they might be in a panic. And all of that information translates to you, especially in smaller to medium-sized businesses where this is just maybe 1 person is giving you most of your feedback. Then you're getting unfiltered information. You're also getting unvetted information. So 1 person might be in a panic and they might say, oh, this is really bad. We need to do something about this. Or they might say, oh, everything's fine. Everything is great. And you don't know that everything's not great. You need more points of feedback. The last part, number 4, is the discernment of actually knowing what feedback is worthwhile. So sometimes you get feedback from people, and this is kind of for all of those who do any kind of online shopping and you read their reviews, there's always those 1-star reviews. And of course, we always go to the 1-star reviews because we want to know what did that person have to say. Except that there's a thing here that we all do that we might not acknowledge when it comes to this in business life and stuff, is that when we read those 1-star reviews, we inherently know that some of these people just had a bad day. And some of these people are just out to get you. And this is where taking things with a grain of salt, as my grandma used to always tell me, take everything with a grain of salt. So if 1 person says, this is great, take it with a grain of salt. If another person says, this is terrible, also take that with a grain of salt. Be discerning. Look at everybody, take all the information in, listen to what they're saying, look at their verbal cues. Does it feel good? Use some critical thinking, use some judgment skills here. But you need to be collecting data. You need to be getting feedback, preferably from people that know what's going on. But not always the case. Actually, I find that sometimes getting feedback from the people at the bottom is actually some of the best, because maybe they don't know what your metrics are. Maybe they don't understand what you consider worthwhile data, but they're going to give it to you straight. And they're going to give it to you unfiltered from their point of view, which is good because then you can filter that. So get feedback, act on it, but also make sure you're getting from multiple sources, and make sure you're being discerning with all of that information that you're getting. Because if you just act on everything, this might be worse than doing nothing. Might not. Maybe you get lucky. But the problem with that is, well, I think you can see the problem with that. So follow those 4. Get information. Make sure you're acting on it. Make sure you're getting it from more than 1 person. And be discerning with that information. And you'll do a whole lot better.